All right, let's unpack this. We're doing a deep dive today into Psalms chapter 125. And what really jumps out right away are these incredibly strong images, all about stability, protection.
It really does hit you with those metaphors. The first big one compares people who trust in the Lord to Mount Zion. And it's pretty explicit, saying Mount Zion cannot be shaken but endures forever.
Right. Mount Zion. That wasn't just any hill, it was the fortress hill in Jerusalem, wasn't it?
Exactly. So using that image, it's not just about like temporary firmness, it's conveying deep permanence.
A kind of foundational stability that just lasts. So, what's that telling us about trust itself in this view?
Well, it suggests this kind of trust creates a state of being, almost an identity that's as rooted and immovable as a mountain. It's presented less as a feeling and more like an objective reality for those who trust, like solid bedrock underneath you.
That's a really potent picture of sort of internal strength. And then there's a second key image, right? It shifts the view slightly.
Yeah, it does. It builds on it. It says the Lord surrounds his people, both now and forevermore, just like mountains surround Jerusalem.
So we move from the internal being like a mountain to being surrounded by protection, like the city itself.
Precisely. Jerusalem's geography, it's naturally protected by surrounding hills. So God is depicted as that protective barrier, that encircling presence. It sort of layers the security. You've got the internal stability like Zion, and then this external defense like the mountains around the city.
That combination is fascinating. Unshakable from within, guarded from without. It gives a very complete picture of security based on this trust.
It really does.
Yeah.
Security isn't just in the person, it's also actively provided, maintained by the one they trust.
Okay, so we have these powerful images of security, but the psalm doesn't just leave it there, does it? It introduces some other realities.
No, it gets into the complexities. After setting up this ideal of security, it brings in the scepter of the wicked, that symbol of, well, unjust power or oppression. And it says this wicked authority won't remain over the land assigned to the righteous.
And the reason given for why it won't remain is really interesting. It's so that the righteous aren't pushed to use their hands to do evil.
Yes, that's a really profound psychological or maybe spiritual insight. It connects external injustice directly to an internal moral risk.
So living under prolonged oppression, it's not just about suffering. It can actually tempt good people.
Exactly. It suggests that seeing wickedness go unchecked, seeing it hold power, can erode your own resolve. It might tempt you to, fight fire with fire or just despair and think, what's the point of being good?
Yeah.
It really acknowledges the pressure that external evil puts on your own integrity.
That's a very real-world consequence, isn't it? And against that backdrop, that risk, the chapter then includes this plea, or maybe it's a statement of faith. Do good, O Lord, to those who are good.
To those who are upright in heart. Yeah, it feels like a direct response to that tension we just talked about. It's like saying, despite the pressures, despite the risks, ultimately, goodness and uprightness should align with good outcomes, with divine favor. Hold on to that integrity.
Right. And then, to make the point even clearer, it contrasts that hope for the upright with what happens to those who turn to crooked ways.
Yes, there's a clear consequence stated. Those who stray from that straight path of uprightness, they end up separated, banished with the evildoers. It really lays out the choice starkly. Trust and uprightness lead to that Zion-like stability and Jerusalem-like protection, while compromise and crookedness lead to being lumped in with the wicked.
It's quite a contrast. And then the whole chapter kind of resolves, or at least concludes, with this very simple but resonant phrase, peace be upon Israel.
After all that exploration, the foundation of trust, the threat of evil, the risk of compromise, the different outcomes ending with that, it's like the ultimate aspiration for the whole community. It ties that individual, unshakable security we talked about earlier to the well-being and peace of the collective.
It really brings it together beautifully, from the personal to the communal hope for peace. Okay, so wrapping this up, here's something for you to think about. How does that specific image, being surrounded like a city nestled in protective mountains, resonate with how you personally conceive of security or protection? Does looking at it through this ancient lens, this text, maybe offer a slightly different angle on what it means to be truly unshakable? Perhaps linking that outer safety and inner steadfastness in a way you hadn't quite considered before?